great way to keep healthy. NFL, soccer, basketball, all these contact sports is what real sports are. But whoops, I have just hit my head and have suffered brain trauma. I wonder what cognitive function of mine could be affected by this. I should go and ask Dr. Exxon. Hey Dr. Exxon, so I have just hit my head while playing sports and was wondering what types of effect brain trauma could have on my cognitive function. Could you help me out?
Of course. However, to understand this, we must first understand how the brain changes in the event of an injury to the brain. Ready to learn? Let's go! Now, brain injuries can be caused in two ways. It can be one single large impact suddenly, or a large number of impacts that gradually build over time, both causing the brain to rapidly stop moving, and the brain continuing to move and hit the inside of the skull, twisting and turning in a whiplash fashion, damaging the delicate cells and structures of the brain. Contact sports players are one of the most vulnerable people to get concussions, and NFL players have been reported to have gotten the most concussions out of all of them, as the brain only needs 60 Gs of force to become concussed, whereas professional NFL players constantly sustain more than 100 Gs of force repeatedly during blocks and tackles over the course of an entire professional career, resulting in both long-term and short-term implications on their cognitive abilities. Here is a diagram of a normal brain and a brain that has sustained repeated blows to the head during the course of a 10-year career.
Hey Dr. Exxon, why do the two brains look different?
Good question. All those brown spots are blood spots that represent damage to the brain. They represent broken synapses, torn axons, and although small individually, but they all combine to create an observable symptom, and they affect the cognitive ability of that person.
Then, how do we protect ourselves against getting these brain trauma?
Unfortunately, there is no way to prevent brain trauma as the brain is inside the body. Helmets are only used to protect against skeletal damage, and the only way for a doctor to discover if brain trauma is present or not is to conduct a series of tests to see the effect of the brain injury to the patient's cognitive function immediately.
Did you know the standard sideline tests that athletes have to go through when shown concussion-like symptoms have only correctly diagnosed concussion and other brain trauma 2 out of 12 times?
For example, the doctor may conduct several tests to evaluate memory, concentration, ability to recall information.
Did you know a rugby player, Billy Slater, was knocked unconsciously during a game and could not remember past events up to 2 weeks prior?
If brain trauma is proven to be present, then the cognitive abilities of that person will be affected in both the long term and the short term.
Huh? Long term and short term? How?
In the short term, brain trauma can immediately lead to a temporary loss in consciousness, delayed response to questions, which is caused by injury to the nerve cell axons from rapid rotation or deceleration of the brain. It can also cause dizziness and ringing in your ears, which is due to the damage to the inner ear or to the hearing nerves in the temporal lobe, which controls hearing. Furthermore, blurred vision and sensitivity to light and sound can also occur, and that is because damage may be present in the temporal lobe on the sides of the head or in the occipital lobe in the back of the head.
Wow, quite serious.
Yes, this is absolutely serious. Brain trauma can also lead to very serious long-term implications on a person's cognitive function. In the long term, brain trauma can lead to people having trouble concentrating, memory problems, light and noise sensitivity, insomnia, depression, and other psychological problems. Also, people can even have disorders in smell and taste, and even subtle changes in personality and intelligence over a long period of time. This sort of injury was discovered by Dr. Bennett Omalu upon an autopsy of an ex-NFL player who committed suicide as a result of the troubles from brain trauma. He discovered a new disease called CTE, which can only be diagnosed post-mortem, when it's too late, which is why many parents are pulling their kids out of high-contact sports such as football, and experts are warning people about the hidden dangers of these repeated blows to the head.
Did you know at Boston University, one of the largest CTE brain banks, researchers have examined a total of 165 brains of former NFL football players and have found evidence of CTE in 97% of professional players and 79% of all players.
Which reminds me, you should go and check your head injury with a doctor right now.
Oh yes, gotta go then. Thanks Dr. Exxon. Goodbye.